10 habits that force your arms to have bulging veins. It works even with bad genetics. Have you ever noticed how a vascular physique draws attention wherever you go? Those bulging veins in your arms, in your forearm, running through your biceps. It's not just an aesthetic issue, it's one of the main visual signs that you're in great shape. And let's be honest, women love it. They notice. Yes, I'm saying this because I know many people train just to impress the opposite sex. Anyway, a vascular body conveys strength, dedication, and discipline. And the fact is that by pursuing this, you only evolve, because to have vascular arms, you automatically improve your cardiovascular health, your body composition, and your athletic performance. That's why today you'll see the 10 definitive habits to transform your arms and achieve this enviable vascularity. Before we start, please tell us through the comments your name and the city where you're watching our content from. We'd love to know. Habit number 1. Control body temperature. Vascularity is not just the result of heavy training and strict diet. There's a factor that very few people know about, and that can make your veins pop in a matter of minutes. Body temperature. When your body is warm, a process called vasodilation occurs, where blood vessels expand to help dissipate heat and keep the internal temperature regulated. It's a survival mechanism of the organism, but you can use this strategically to your advantage. Take hot baths before situations where you want to display maximum vascularity. Hot water raises skin temperature and dilates superficial vessels, making veins much more prominent. Professional bodybuilders use this trick religiously before going on stage or doing photo shoots. Some even take baths of 15 to 20 minutes in very hot water minutes before the presentation. The opposite also works dramatically. Cold environments contract blood vessels, a process called vasoconstriction, which makes your veins practically disappear. That's why if you train in gyms with very strong air conditioning, your veins will appear less during and after training. To maximize visible vascularity, prefer training in environments with comfortable room temperature, between 72 and 77 degrees Fahrenheit. You can also use clothing that maintains body heat during training, like light sweatshirts, which increase vasodilation. A mistake I constantly see is people trying to force vascularity in freezing environments and getting frustrated with the results. Remember that temperature directly affects the diameter of your blood vessels. Habit number 2. Lose body fat gradually. There's no escaping this truth. Subcutaneous fat is the biggest enemy of vascularity. This layer of fat that sits just below the skin works like a veil that completely hides the outline of your veins, no matter how developed your vascular system is. You can have veins as thick as power cables, but if there's fat covering them, nobody will see them. Vascularity in the arms generally starts to appear when body fat percentage reaches between 10 and 12% for men, and between 15 and 18% for women. But here's the problem. Most people know they need to lose weight, but have no idea how to do this without losing muscle in the process. The secret is not simply to lose weight, it's to improve body composition, that is, reduce fat while preserving or even increasing muscle mass. The ideal rate of fat loss is 7 to 16 ounces per week. Faster than that, and you run a serious risk of losing muscle along with it. Start by reducing 200 to 300 calories from your daily intake in the first week. Monitor your weight and adjust weekly as needed. If you're not losing fat, reduce another 100 calories. If you're losing too fast, add 100 calories back. Throughout this process, keep protein intake extremely high, something around 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Protein is the nutrient that will signal to your body that it should preserve muscle mass even in a caloric deficit. Habit number 3. Gain more muscles. It may seem contradictory to talk about gaining muscle mass when we just discussed fat loss, but there's perfect logic here. Developed muscles significantly increase vascularity for several reasons. First, the bigger the muscle, the greater the demand for blood and oxygen, which forces the body to develop a denser and more voluminous vascular network. Second, larger muscles literally push the veins closer to the skin surface, making them more visible. Third, muscle tissue is metabolically active and needs constant blood supply, keeping the vessels dilated. During the fat loss phase, which should not extend beyond 16 to 20 weeks, the training focus should change. Instead of seeking hypertrophy with moderate repetitions, prioritize maintaining strength by lifting heavy loads with 5 to 10 repetitions per set. This sends a powerful signal to the body that that muscle is still necessary and cannot be used as an energy source. Weight training should have absolute priority over cardio during the caloric deficit. While cardio burns burns calories, weight training in a deficit preserves muscles and still continues burning fat. Training volume is crucial. Maintain between 10 to 20 weekly sets per muscle group to avoid mass loss. For the arms specifically, this means working biceps, triceps, and forearms with intensity 2 to 3 times a week. Habit number 4, do strategic intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting has gained popularity in recent years, but few understand how it can be used specifically to increase vascularity. Fasting acts on 2 distinct fronts. First front, it dramatically facilitates the creation of a caloric deficit, which, as we've seen, is essential to reduce the subcutaneous fat that hides your veins. When you restrict your eating window, it naturally becomes harder to consume excess calories. Second front, during prolonged fasting, especially after 12 to 16 hours without eating, your body releases growth hormone in significantly larger quantities. This hormone not only helps preserve muscle mass during the caloric deficit, but also improves fat mobilization for use as energy. Additionally, fasting increases insulin sensitivity, making your body process nutrients more efficiently when you finally eat. The most common and sustainable protocol is 16/8, 16 hours of fasting with 8 hours of window for eating. For example, you stop eating at 8 in the evening and only eat again at noon the next day. Training while fasting can further potentiate temporary vascularity. During fasted exercise, the body mobilizes fat more aggressively and increases blood flow to active muscles, making veins pop impressively. However, I need to be honest. Intermittent fasting is not for everyone. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will make you progress with health in the long term in the world of bodybuilding. Habit number 5, consider taking supplements. Nitric oxide is probably the most important substance when we talk about vascularity. This compound works as a signal that relaxes the walls of blood vessels, increasing their diameter and allowing greater blood flow. The more nitric oxide circulating, the more dilated your vessels become, and the more prominent your veins appear. Research demonstrates that supplementation with nitric oxide precursors can significantly improve blood flow and exercise performance, both in healthy adults and in less trained people. The most effective supplements for this purpose contain L-arginine and L-citrulline. L-arginine is an amino acid that the body converts directly into nitric oxide. It relaxes blood vessels, allowing more blood to circulate, generating that intense muscle, pump, and temporary vascularity during and after training. The typical dose is 3 to 6 grams before training. However, L-citrulline is even more efficient because it's not degraded as quickly in the digestive system, resulting in higher and sustained levels of nitric oxide. The recommended dose of citrulline malate is 6 to 8 grams about 30 to 60 minutes before exercise. Another interesting supplement is beetroot, or concentrated beet juice, which is naturally rich in nitrates. Your body converts these nitrates into nitric oxide, promoting vasodilation. But attention, supplements don't work miracles alone. If your body fat percentage is still high, no supplement will make veins appear through a layer of fat. Habit number 6, do exercises focused on forearms and grip. The forearms are often neglected in training, but they're one of the places where vascularity looks most impressive and visible. One of the most effective ways to develop bulging veins in the arms is to work this region with adequate volume and frequency. To add muscle mass in the biceps, triceps, and especially forearms, you need specific exercises. Barbell or dumbbell curl is fundamental for the biceps, while triceps extension on the pulley, close grip bench press, and skull crushers work the back of the arm intensely. But the real secret is in forearm and grip exercises. The wrist curl, where you support the forearms on a bench and move only the wrists holding a bar, intensely recruits all the forearm muscles. Do this with high repetitions, between 15 and 20, to maximize pumping and blood flow. Grip exercises like dead hangs, where you simply hang from a bar and support your body weight for as long as possible, are exceptional for forearm vascularity. You can do this literally on a doorway with a pull-up bar. Start with 30 seconds and progress until you can do 2 minutes or more. During this time, the intense isometric effort forces blood to the region, dilating the vessels and making the veins appear dramatically. Farmer walks, where you walk holding heavy dumbbells, are also excellent. Habit number 7. Employ specific training techniques. There are training techniques that were developed specifically to maximize muscle pump and vascularity. During any exercise, blood pressure increases significantly, forcing the veins against the skin. With frequent training using these techniques, blood vessels can remain dilated and visible even at rest. The first technique is pump sets, which are sets with higher repetitions, usually between 15 and 25, with very short rest between sets, something between 30 and 45 seconds. This keeps blood constant in the region, stretching the vessel walls and creating that stretched skin sensation. Do 3 to 4 pump sets at the end of your arm training, choosing exercises like hammer curl or triceps extension on the pulley. Another powerful technique is blood flow restriction training, known as BFR or blood flow restriction. You use special bands or tourniquets to partially restrict the blood flow leaving the muscle while allowing blood to enter normally. This creates a massive accumulation of blood, metabolites, and lactic acid in the muscle, generating extreme pumping with much lighter loads, usually only 20 to 30% of your maximum load. BFR allows training to muscle failure without overloading joints and tendons. However, I need to warn that this technique has risks if done incorrectly. Habit number 8. Stay adequately hydrated. It seems contradictory, but drinking more water actually increases vascularity instead of decreasing it. Adequate hydration has an absolutely crucial role in physical performance, muscle growth, recovery, and overall cardiovascular health. When you're dehydrated, your body enters preservation mode, retaining every possible drop of liquid and storing water subcutaneously, precisely where it will hide your veins. Additionally, blood becomes thicker and more viscous when you're dehydrated, making circulation difficult and reducing muscle pump. On the other hand, when you maintain optimal hydration, your body doesn't need to retain water. Blood flows more easily, and muscles become fuller and more voluminous. This pushes the veins closer to the skin surface. The general recommendation is to consume 30 to 50 milliliters of water per kilogram of body weight daily. So if you weigh 176 pounds, do 80 times 30 and 80 times 50, arriving at 2.4 to 4 liters per day. But this amount needs to increase significantly on days of intense training or in hot climates. A simple way to monitor is to observe the color of urine. It should always be very light yellow, almost transparent. If it's dark yellow or amber, you're dehydrated. Drink water constantly throughout the day, not all at once. Distribute in small amounts every hour. During training, take small sips between sets. Habit number 9. Make dietary adjustments. Diet is perhaps the most important factor of all when we talk about permanent vascularity. More than any training or supplement, what you put on your plate determines whether your veins will appear or continue hidden. First, fundamental adjustment. Increase lean protein. Vegetables rich in protein and low in fat like broccoli, kale, spinach, and mushrooms should be present in all meals. But most of your protein will come from lean animal sources like chicken breast, white fish, lean red meat, and egg whites. Aim for approximately 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, divided into 4 to 5 meals throughout the day to optimize absorption. Second adjustment, minimize sodium to reduce water retention. Sodium makes your body retain liquid subcutaneously, creating a layer between muscle and skin that blurs definition and hides veins. Avoid processed foods, canned goods, and fast food that are loaded with sodium. Season your meals with herbs, garlic, onion, and lemon instead of salt. Third adjustment, increase slow-digesting carbohydrates. It may seem strange to increase carbohydrates for definition, but complex carbohydrates like brown rice, sweet potato, oatmeal, and whole grain bread help reduce water retention when consumed consistently, besides keeping muscles full of glycogen, which makes them voluminous and pushes the veins out. Consume most carbohydrates around training. Fourth adjustment, include foods with natural diuretic and vasodilating properties. Asparagus, eggplant, garlic, onion, watermelon, lemon, and cranberry help eliminate excess water and dilate blood vessels. Habit number 10. Avoid chronic stress and sleep adequately. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is one of the biggest enemies of vascularity, and very few people talk about this. When you're constantly stressed, Whether from work, personal problems, or overtraining, your body maintains elevated levels of cortisol, circulating in the bloodstream. Cortisol has several negative effects. It promotes fat storage, especially in the abdominal and subcutaneous region. It reduces insulin sensitivity, making muscle gain difficult. It increases water and sodium retention, and it even causes vasoconstriction, literally contracting your blood vessels and reducing blood flow. Controlling stress is not a luxury. It's a necessity for those seeking vascularity. Techniques like meditation of 10 to 15 minutes daily, deep breathing before sleep, outdoor walks, and relaxing hobbies reduce cortisol significantly. Sleep is even more critical. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, repairs muscle tissues, regulates hormones, and processes the day's stress. Sleeping less than 7 hours per night elevates cortisol, reduces testosterone, increases hunger, and makes fat loss difficult. For optimal vascularity, you need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. Bonus habit: use foam roller. You applied the 10 previous habits and are already seeing results. But there's a bonus habit that will further potentiate your vascularity in a way that few know: foam rolling or foam roller. Most people use the roller only as a warm-up or to improve flexibility before training, which is already valid. But the real benefit for vascularity goes far beyond that. When you pass the foam roller over muscles with adequate pressure, you're doing a form of self-massage that has profound effects on the circulatory system. Foam rolling significantly increases the production of nitric oxide in the bloodstream, that substance we mentioned earlier that dilates vessels and improves circulation. This increase happens because the mechanical pressure of the roller stimulates the endothelium, which is the inner lining of blood vessels, releasing nitric oxide locally. Additionally, foam rolling improves venous return, facilitating blood return to the heart and creating a more efficient circulation cycle. This translates into better nutrient delivery to muscles and metabolite removal, accelerating recovery. To use the roller aiming for maximum vascularity, concentrate on large muscle groups: quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and back. Pass the roller slowly over each area, applying moderate to strong pressure for 1 to 2 minutes. Make slow movements, about 2 centimeters per second. When you find tenser or more painful points, stop there for 20 to 30 seconds, applying constant pressure. This releases myofascial tension and improves local blood flow. For the arms specifically, you can use a lacrosse ball or tennis ball to work forearms, biceps, and triceps with more precision. The main mistakes to avoid are passing the roller too fast without giving time for the tissue to respond, applying excessive pressure that causes acute pain or injury, and rolling directly over joints or bones instead of focusing on the muscle belly. Foam rolling can be done as many times as you want. Throughout the day, upon waking to activate circulation, before training to warm up and increase range, after training to accelerate recovery, and before sleep to relax. If you enjoyed this and also want to discover the 10 habits used by professional bodybuilders that force your body to grow, we left a video appearing right now on the screen showing each of them better. Don't miss it. Thank you for watching until here, and God bless you, my friend.